Some towns faded away, others were erased. But a few were abandoned for reasons no one ever explained. Tonight, we're not talking about ghost stories. We're talking about real places, with real people who left everything behind and never came back. 3 towns, 3 mysteries, and if you stay to the end, you'll see a place that's still burning, 60 years later. This is Roadside Tales, and these are the top 3 creepiest abandoned towns in America. Dudleytown, Connecticut, the village of the damned. In the hills of northwestern Connecticut lies the remains of a place most maps won't show. It's not fenced off. It's just gone, swallowed by trees, time, and something no one could name. Dudleytown was settled in the 1740s by descendants of the English Dudley family. But from the beginning, the land was wrong. Within a few decades, the settlers faced strange misfortunes, crop failures, disease, madness. One man went insane and killed himself. Another wandered into the woods and vanished. Families moved away, terrified. Those who stayed met darker fates. Entire households died from unknown causes. Visitors reported seeing figures in the trees, hearing voices at night. People claimed the land was cursed, haunted by something older than the town itself. Local legends suggest that the Dudley family brought the curse with them from England. A relative of the family had been involved in political betrayals during the reign of Henry VIII, and some believed their bloodline was marked. Whether that was true or not, it didn't stop the rumors from spreading. Over time, the name Dudleytown became synonymous with misfortune. Even neighboring towns avoided talking about it. Children were warned not to enter the woods. Campers whispered about the black mist that hovered just above the ground. By the late 1800s, the town was completely abandoned. Houses rotted, the forest returned, and Dudleytown became a whispered legend, the village of the damned. Today, the land is privately owned and strictly off-limits. Those who sneak in report strange occurrences, electronics failing, overwhelming dread, even time loss. Historians dismiss it as mass hysteria, but the families who once lived there left in silence and never spoke of it again. But sometimes what haunts a place isn't a curse. It walks, it watches, and in the next town, it hunts. Port Chatham, Alaska, the thing in the woods. Port Chatham once thrived as a remote fishing village on Alaska's southern coast. It had homes, businesses, a bustling cannery. Then, people started disappearing. Locals spoke of a creature in the woods. Massive, hair-covered, with an odor so foul it made people gag. They called it the Nantiinak. Hunters vanished. Bodies were found mutilated. Bones snapped in half. Tracks too large for any bear appeared along riverbanks. People began whispering about something ancient, something watching them from the trees. One man's body was found with his head smashed flat. Another was discovered in pieces, scattered across moss and stone. The village turned paranoid. Armed patrols were formed, but it didn't help. In the 1940s, a logger was reportedly dragged away in broad daylight, his screams echoing through the forest. The workers left that same week. Another resident swore she saw something watching her from the tree line, and when she screamed, it mimicked her voice back. People started boarding up their homes. The church held emergency prayer meetings. By the 1950s, the last remaining residents packed what they could and left. Overnight, the town emptied. They abandoned their homes, tools, even food on the table. Port Chatham was left to rot. To this day, no one lives there. Those who visit speak of whispers in the wind and shapes moving through the fog. Hunters refused to stay overnight. Some even turned back before reaching it. In 2009, a film crew visited the site for a documentary. Halfway into filming, their guide, a native Alaskan, refused to continue. He said simply, "This is where they scream." No one ever proved what killed those men, but something did, and it's still out there. But the final town didn't die from a curse or a creature. It died from something deeper, something underground, and it's still burning. Where people knew each other. Then the ground opened up. It began with smoke rising from the local dump. But the fire wasn't on the surface, it was beneath. A coal seam had caught fire underground. They tried to extinguish it. They failed. The fire spread silently, eating through tunnels under the town. Streets cracked, sidewalks buckled, yards collapsed, gas leaked into basements. Children nearly fell into flaming sinkholes. Residents began to notice heat radiating from their floors. Thermometers placed on the ground read over 150 degrees Fahrenheit. Trees wilted, animals fled. In 1981, a 12-year-old boy fell into a sinkhole that suddenly opened beneath his feet. He was rescued, but the incident triggered mass panic. That same year, toxic gases were found inside homes. The government issued buyouts. Most residents left. Their houses were demolished, but the fire kept burning. In fact, it still is. Today, Centralia is a wasteland. The highway was rerouted. Most buildings are gone. Only a few stubborn holdouts remain, clinging to homes above the inferno. Underground, the fire spreads like veins in the earth. Scientists estimate it could burn for another 250 years. The town inspired horror stories. It inspired Silent Hill. But the real story? It's not supernatural. It's worse. Because sometimes the land itself turns on you. And you can't run from something that's beneath your feet. 3 towns, 3 exits from civilization, 1 left to darkness, 1 left to fear, and 1 still on fire. These places aren't fiction. They're reminders that some places go quiet for a reason. Thank you for watching Roadside Tales. If you made it to the end, you now know what most people never will. Subscribe for more stories that slip between the cracks of the map. And until next time, stay curious and stay safe.